Bipartisanship is the basis of a political regime that is based on two large parties or coalitions that govern the country or the region. Bipartisanship involves trying to find common ground, but there's a debate to see if issues that need common ground compromise to be peripheral or central. Compromises are commonly called bipartisan if they fit what both parties want from an original version of legislation or a proposition. Failure to win bipartisan support in such a system can simply end in stalemate, often causing others to rage along with their constituents. This system of government is the complete opposite of partisanship, which is characterized by lack of contribution between rival political parties. Bipartisanship can also be carried out in totally different groups, whether liberal or conservative, among others, to agree and determine a procedure for action on an urgent matter, which is extremely important to voters. This interpretation brings bipartisanship closer to the more applied notion of post-partisan decision-making, an orientation that focuses on the solution that brings a governance model with external referees wielding to detect biases. It is also argued that there is bipartisanship in policy-making that does not have bipartisan support, which is the case if it is bipartisan exchanges. This alignment is fundamental in the legislative process and is a bipartisan conception in the sense that it functions as a component to obtain approval and collaboration. The two-party system stipulates through elections or in a constitutional manner the two parties that will be in command in a particular government. Unlike multipartyism, it does not limit political diversity and neutralizes extreme polarization of positions. The origin of this form of government later goes back to the French Revolution, whose purpose was to create a form of government with one party on the side of the bourgeoisie and another on the side of the aristocracy. Later, with the arrival of Marxism, the bipartisanship became a party in favor of the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. At present, the two parties or coalitions that represent the two-party system tend to oppose each other's ideologies and traditions. Bipartisanship is not something that is achieved so easily, due to the economic policies of the two parties. In 1951, the French tourist Merit de Verger said in his word, "The political parties, two factors that would establish partisanship and majority of votes. The first factor is the mechanical effect, where the parties that are not part of the dominant ones do not have the representation that is needed to win. And on the other hand, there is the psychological effect, where the votes are directed to both parties, so that in this way, they are not wasted." Likewise, there are the basic methods of electoral representation, which are the following. 1. By majority. It consists of reducing the massive will in several representatives. 2. By electoral representation. Parliament tries to have any significant minority represented. De Verger's laws check the functioning of electoral systems and their influence on the number of political parties. By 1959 he would release 3 formulas that he would later call his laws. The formulas are as follows. 1. A system where the majority is relative and always leads to bipartisanship, which alternates the place and power of the parties in government. 2. Proportional representation leads to multipartyism, or autonomous parties, which are not very likely to join the coalition. 3. A system that incorporates an election with the second round leads to a multi-party system with consistently stable parties, but with the possibility of forming coalitions or alliances. Bipartisanship has been a target for criticism because it can hide differences between parties, which problematizes voting for candidates established in politics in a democracy. Furthermore, the concept of bipartisanship has been discredited for shrinking agreements between more than the parties in order to exercise a majority tyranny by forcing voters to favor one of the larger parties. But hey, let's see the advantages and disadvantages of bipartisanship. The advantages can be seen in the fact that there is an equal and alternating distribution of forces within the democratic system, which provides political stability. And the disadvantages can be observed in the exclusion of important minorities, which does not help the exercise of democracy for groups not represented in a system. Anyway people, this would be all. I hope you liked it, and you know that if it was so, you can give your like, comment and subscribe. Bye.